Hey guys, right now there's an amazing deal on for Docdown and I wanted to do a quick review. It's probably one of the most useful pieces of software I've seen in a long time. It's primarily a PDF, an automated PDF filler. So what happens is if you have data anywhere, in a web form, in your CRM, pretty much anywhere, and you want to be able to fill in a pre-filled PDF and send it to your customer, then you can do it like this. It's got huge advantages to it. You can send anything basically to it via webhook. So you can trigger it off by a web form or something else and then use a webhook. Or a CRM and use a webhook, or even a task, a change in a task or a change in a sales stage. So anything that you use in Zapier or Intergrately or any of those ones, you can integrate with sending pre-filled PDFs. For us in our business, this is massively helpful. The other thing it does is you can have hidden forms in it to do sums or to manipulate the data in between, so that what comes out in the form doesn't have to be what's filled in, so that you can do additions and things like that, or it's complex calculations. So I'll show you how I use it. I think it's incredible software. I'm thrilled. It's only just been developed. If you've watched a demo on Docdown before, there's a one good one around that I saw. It didn't have all the newest changes, so that's why I'm going to show you now. Okay, so here's Docdown. Here's the dashboard. It's just got your documents and your workflows, and then you come here, there's the documents again, all of them. The other one's just got a few, and here's your workflows. Okay, with our business, we need filled in credit guides for our customers to sign, to give us privacy consent. And what's happening right now is we're taking a lot of time with our workflow, because we have to go and merge it into a Word document and save as a PDF, then save it up into another thing to get the signatures. You can get the signatures on this. We probably still would put this into our signature one, but it's just to give us the document ready to go into our signature thing with all the data entered. I'm not going to put all the data we would normally enter in for you. I'm just going to show you how to add a little bit of data, because your ones will be different. You don't need to know all that detail. It's just good for you to see basically how it works. Alright, so we'll go here. Alright, so I'll go with this one. Okay, that's good. Alright, so when we look at it, you can see there's a place for a customer signature, a name and date. Okay, so what we want to do is, the main thing today is just to get the name in, but we'll do the other things, a few other things, just to show how it works. So this is the full name. Actually, let's just call this, we'll call it full name. Okay, and then you can put the date in as well, though we won't always. Okay, with the date, we've got to go over here and make it a day, month. So each time, so you can put a day, a text, a number, a checkbox, or a signature. So this is a date one. With the name, again, text, full name. You can hide it in the document, hide it in the form, which I'll show you that is in a minute. The thing that's new with this, which wasn't in any other video, is this here. You can now put it in the middle if you want, or on the right. You probably put in the middle or left. I put left anyway. So there's the name, the date. You can put a checkbox in if you want, a signature one if you want. Okay, let's do a signature one. Sign here. Okay, so I'll put that there. Okay, and then you can see if you want your signature go in, it's predefined. If you want user input, you change that to user input. Okay, then I'm going to put maybe a checkbox on there too, just if you wanted to checkbox. I'll call that checkbox. Okay, and then the other thing which is really interesting is some number fields. Okay, these I wouldn't probably put in, but so I'll call this loan amount, create a field, and then I'll say property value. The next one can be property value. So let me do that. Property value. Okay, and then this one can be LVR, which is loan to value ratio. Now with loan to value ratio, I'm going to do that as a sum, and the sum will be the loan amount divided by the property value. Okay, so the loan amount divided by the property value would be the LVR, and I can hide that in the form or have it in the document. I'm just going to leave them so I can hide in the form or in the document. Okay, so this is all the document, and then what I'll do is I'll show you the form. So we'll save that, and then you hit preview, and then this is the form. So when you fill this in, the information goes into the document. Because this is a really long document, and this is where, so I'll put my full name in here. Oops, the date is today. I'll sign here. I'll check a box. The loan amount is 560. I will make it 500. The property value is 900, and you can see the LVRs in there. So you can see that divided by that. Actually, I'll make it easier so that you know. So the loan amount's 500,000. The property value's $1 million, so you can see the loan value is 50%, so it's 0.5. Okay, so we submit it, and then you can see that signature's a little stretched. They're fixing that though. There's the customer name, the date, the loan amount, that the property value, and the LVR. So I didn't put that number in there. That showed up when I put these two in by that sum, and I can hide this on the document, or I can hide it in this and have it just show up on the document. So you can do whatever you want to do. So you can have hidden calculations when people fill in your form that don't even show up on the form. I could have taken that off the form, that only show up here. So you can pass information into the form that way. Okay, so now I'll show you. So now that you've made this form, this is the data that then you want to go into the form. So what I want to do is, instead of filling this form in to pre-populate this PDF, I want to, which they used to have here, a workflow where you could fill in that form. There's actually still a new workflow. There's a new workflow where you can use a webhook to fill in the form. They still have the old option of using the online form, which is still something good to have. So I'll show you where that is first before I show you the webhook, so you can understand how it works. Okay, so you pick the form out. Who can access the form? You can do a password or anyone with the link. Display all the form fields, yes. Download the PDF, yes. Okay, file name required. Okay, so we'll call this credit form, so you know which one it is. Display all fields. Okay, we'll call it credit form. Okay, credit form. Message on submission. Thanks for downloading your credit form. We'll just say that. I mean, that's not a great message, but anyway. Okay. And then there's additional options down here too. You can redirect on submit, all those sorts of things, but I'm not going to bother with any of that. Okay, so we'll save that. Then this is the trigger. You also have to have an action. The action can be another online form. It can be an email so that you can complete extra information in the form. So say your customer filled in some of the form and then you filled in some of the form, or multiple people within your organizations are filling in the same form. This is what you could do. You can send an email, a Slack notification, or an outgoing webhook. So we'll do an email because that's the quickest. You can do notifications from yourself. We're just doing them from your Gmail. They've got a syncing thing with that, but I haven't set it up. The subject can be credit form, I'll call it. Attachment's the generated document. Hi, here's your credit form. Okay. Here is your credit form. Thanks. Whoops. Okay, just to have something there. All right, and then I'll turn it on. So now what happens when we go back here is this. Here's your form link. So I'll open up the form link. Okay, so this is the form. So you can keep this form here and it will be available for you to send out. You can put it into a short note or whatever you want to do later on, but that's how it works. All right, so you put your full name in, the date. I've changed the date, by the way, because it wasn't accepting that other format, so I've changed it to that other one. The way you do that, just so you know, is here. I couldn't get that other date format to work in this, so I've changed the date to, instead of this day month here, this one here. Okay, so I'll save that, go back. All right, so checkbox. Okay, the loan amount's going to be 900. The property value is going to be 1.8. So we asked 50%, so it's 0.5. Submit. Okay. So that's what the form is, and then you can download it here. Let's see what happens when you download it there. Open. Okay, and then on the last page it should be all, yep. So it's got those three numbers again and those three things in there. When you go into your notifications, there it is. Hi, here's your credit form. So this is the notifications it sends you. And there it is. Let's make sure the forms, yep, the same form has been merged again with those numbers on the bottom again. All right, so that is how you get data into the form, into the PDF from when you use the form. Okay, so if you wanted to do the same thing, but use a webhook, this is how you do that. So you go back to the dashboard, back to the workflows. That's the form one there. Okay, so now what we do is we do a webhook. So we'll do a new workflow. Instead of using the form, this time we use the webhook. We'll take the same document. We'll call the form so that we know which one it is. We'll call this webhook credit guide so we know, just so that you can know which one we use. Save it. Okay, so the incoming triggers a webhook, and then again we'll do an email as the next one again. So we'll still do the notifications, everything else. Okay, so this now is using Zapier test, I'll call it. The attached file will be generated. Here's the Zapier test from a webhook. Whoops. From a webhook. Alright, so we've done that. So now how do we do the rest of the webhook with Zapier? Okay, so with Zapier you need to have this, the webhook endpoint, you need the API key, and then you need to, so the API key's here. Obviously I'll blank that out when I do this, and the trigger's here. Okay, so what you do is you go into Zapier, you go My Zap, oops, then you go Make a Zap, and I've got millions of zaps. Okay, now you can do it. What I'm going to do is do it from one of my other web forms. I've got two web forms I'm thinking of using. One's Power. Here's a web form that I've made in Power. It's just a form building software. So instead of that other form that they filled in, they just fill in this form. Okay, so we'll do this. This is a form with loads of questions, but we only have to fill in. It's called Quick Questions. So we'll just submit it. So we've got a form that's been done. All right, so we'll go to Zapier, and I will just add Power in. Power Form Builder. Here we go. Trigger event, a new form response. Choose an account. Well, I've already got my account set up. You can see how to set up an account in Zapier. They tell you if you don't know. Okay, then I've got to choose. Whoops, set up a trigger. Wait a second, choose an account, chose the account. Oh, here's all the forms. It was a quick question form. Okay, test trigger. We just did that as a trigger then to test it. Okay, so that was the one we just filled in. We didn't fill anything else in, so that's why I say continue. And then what we do is we look up webhook. Webhooks by Zapier. It's premium, obviously. Then your action event is to do a post. Now the documentation of this is really clear in the if you look up in the intercom of what are we doing? What's it called? Of Docdown. So the URL is just here. So that's the URL, the endpoint URL. So we'll put that in. Go into Zapier. Endpoint URL. Okay, it's not a post. Sorry, it is post. Okay, the payload's not a form. It's JSON. They tell you this. I don't know how you're supposed to know this otherwise. Okay, the data is what you're mapping across. So the mapping stuff would be the first name. Okay, I think I only did a full name in this one, so I might just actually, I know what I can do. I can do first name, last name like that. That's the full name. Okay, so where did I get, whoops. So I think I called, let's go back to this document to find out, whoops, documents. I'm just showing you where you get everything in case you're wondering. Okay, so the full name is what we got. Full name here. This is what you've got to do. You see what the name is, full underscore name. Okay, so that's what we put into Zapier. So we say full underscore name. Okay, so that's that. You always say no for that one. Okay, the other thing you have to put in is, wait a second, I'm going to go into my previous Zapper one because it will tell me. Okay, so the post was, so they say no. Oh, so this authorization, they tell you this, what to write in the, and then you say bearer. And then you put in your API key from here, which I will blank out when I do this. Whoops, where did I put it? It's here, you find it here. They've got a link to it, and so you've got to put your own one in there. So you do that, and then you've also got to put in a second one, which is called content type. This you're not supposed to know. They tell you this in the. You can just watch this if you want and copy, and you'll work it out. Okay, and then you go, whoops, back into Zapier. Okay, so I'll just make sure I've got everything right, because that's what I did before. So we've got that, and that. It's the URL, the trigger, the data, the wrap no. So the answer is no, yes, okay. I think that's everything. Okay, refresh fields. I think that's right, continue. Test and continue. Okay, the workflow's not active, so you've got to go back to here and turn this workflow on for you to be able to test it in okay, now it's working. So request was sent just now. Okay, so ready to turn the zap on? Turn it on. Okay, so now what we should do is when we fill in this, where is it? When I fill in this form here, oops, this form here, copy, it should send me the same data as the other form. Okay, so we do that. Let's call myself Ginger so that we know which one it is. Okay, and we'll just submit. So when anyone submits a form to that, it should now send me through a notification. Here it is. From there, I think that was a test. Virginia is great. That's the first test. We've got to wait for the second test to arrive. It should be here any second. Is that it there? No, we'll just wait for a second for it to come through. It should be Ginger. Oh, that's it there. Okay. Now this should say Ginger if it's the right one. Yep, Ginger Graham. Okay, the other thing I could do if I wanted to space that out is when I'm in Zapier, whoops, and I'm doing these fields here, whoops, that's the wrong one, the new Zapier one. Let's go set up an action. When I'm setting up these names here, all I have to do is put a space between them and turn it on again, and then it will so now whenever anyone fills in that form, this form, whoops, when anyone fills in this form here, just like if they filled in that form from the other spot, that would go using a webhook into Docdown. So now we've used a Zapier hook into Docdown. So now we've got two ways of sending data into Docdown and automatically generating a PDF. There is another way you can do it, which I just, so you can do it, so you can put a form, you can just give them that form from here. You can use a form from anywhere. You can use Involve Me forms, you can use anything that connects to, any form that connects to Zapier, then you can use the webhook from Zapier and connect it into Docdown. So whatever your workflow is, you can use that. You can also use, I did one with Intergrately, which is like Zapier as well, but I might do that in another video. So all this sort of how to set all this up in Zapier is very well documented in the when you go into Docdown, in the documentation in the help desk at Docdown. Okay, so if you have any other questions, yeah, let me know in the comments below, or tell me if there's something else you want to do. But I'm thinking I might make another video on Intergrately, but we'll see how we go.